I am set with a few breakfast, lunch, and snack options for the week. Hey guys, my name is Vanessa and today I am bringing you into my kitchen and we are going to use our Instant Pots to meal prep for the week. Now, I do have 2 Instant Pots and an extra insert. So whatever you have, you could do all of this in one day or you could break it up. I'm just sharing 5 super easy things to meal prep for your family or your animals in my case. So we're going to use our Instant Pot to cook some frozen chicken and shred it up. We're also going to be using our Instant Pot to cook rice, hard-boiled eggs. Also, I'm gonna show you guys a super easy trick to make egg salad. And then I used to make oatmeal in bulk, like a big ol' meal prep and oatmeal for the week for my family, but I always end up being the only one who eats it. The rest of my family just isn't really into oatmeal. So I found a way to still be able to meal prep oatmeal, but to make it more personal sized for myself. So I'm gonna share that as well. So let's go ahead and get into these 5 super easy things to meal prep using your Instant Pot. Here are the Instant Pots that I have. Now, I do have 2 different models, so I just wanted to go ahead and point out one thing really quickly because this is a comment that I get constantly on pretty much every single Instant Pot video that I have put out. I get this comment in one form or another, and that is, how do I change the pressure on my pot if I do not have a manual button? So this is the Instant Pot that I have had the longest. This is actually a wrap. So it's a magnetic wrap and it's just a silver pot. I actually need to get a new one. I've had this wrap for so long, but I am getting off topic. This manual button automatically puts your pot on high pressure, which this one is the IP Duo. And that's okay because this also has a pressure button. So on your Instant Pot, if you have a pressure button, that is the button that you are going to push if you do not have a manual. And that just allows you to change the pressure on your pot. So you can switch from low pressure to high pressure. So this is my second Instant Pot that I actually just got for Christmas because I use my Instant Pot a lot. I love having 2 of them. It is not necessary, obviously, to have 2. It's just, as much as I'm in the kitchen and I share with you guys, I knew I wanted another one. So this one is the Instant Pot Duo, and it does not have a manual button. However, it does have a button that says pressure level. So that is the button that I press to change the pressure from low to high. So again, in videos, it really does not matter what brand or style Instant Pot pressure cooker that you have. There is going to be some sort of button, check your manual if you need to, that shows you how to change the pressure level. So again, this one has manual and that is just set to where it is on high. If I needed it to be on low, I would press the pressure button, and on this one it says pressure level. So again, just find that button and that's how you're going to get your pressure on high or low depending on what you are cooking. So speaking of cooking, let's go ahead and get started with these super easy 5 things that you can meal prep that don't take a lot of time, again, that are super easy to get you set for the week. You can choose to do these in one day if you want, or break it up and cook it when you need it, but they are super easy to go ahead and throw together at the beginning of the week, the weekend, and that way it's less that you have to worry about later on. We are going to start with the eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and hard boil a dozen eggs. This is great for adding to salads throughout the week and a great either breakfast, or my kids love to just snack on these. If I am packing them a lunch and I pack them a hard-boiled egg, they will eat it. They just love hard-boiled eggs. It is a quick and easy snack, after school snack as well, and the hubby likes to pack them in his lunchbox. So I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, hard boil a dozen. Now, I started out with the 5-5-5 method, which if you guys have had an Instant Pot and you've done any research, that is the norm, the go-to for hard-boiled eggs. mess around with it though and see what works the best for you. I myself prefer a 4-minute egg. I think you get away from that gray ring that you sometimes get. It doesn't turn out all the time, but I will go ahead and cut one of these open so you guys can see what they look like when they are done. So I've got my lid off of my Instant Pot. Make sure that you have the pot inserted. You never ever want to put food in there and try to cook it. You need this inner pot. That's a question that I have gotten before as well. So I've got my pot in there, and then next step, you do not want your eggs to sit right on the bottom. You might get that burn message. It could, you know, crack your egg. You do not want the heat directly on the egg. So most Instant Pots come with a trivet of some kind to lift the eggs, lift your food, whatever you're cooking, off of the bottom of the pot. So again, it's not touching the heat right on. Or what I've been using here lately when I've made hard-boiled eggs that helps out a ton is some kind of steamer basket. So I will link one in the description box. You can find these at a lot of stores, local grocery stores, that kind of thing. They sell them all over right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I'm gonna put this in here, just press it down. And this just helps when you're taking the eggs out, because it's in the little basket already. I'm gonna pull the basket out and all of my eggs are gonna come with it. And I don't have to worry about them cooling off a little bit or using another utensil and dirtying anything else. So I've got my basket in here. I'm gonna get my eggs in there. Once you've got your eggs in there, you do need liquid for your pot to come to pressure. I have 2 6-quart Instant Pots, and for the 6-quart to come to pressure, you need about 1 cup of liquid. You could put your liquid in there first or after, it doesn't matter, as long as it is sitting there on the bottom. So I've got 1 cup of water. Since I'm just using boiled eggs, water works great. So I've got my 1 cup of water in there. Now, it does not matter however many eggs that you're cooking. If you just want to do a few eggs in here, if you want to do a dozen, if you want to do 2 dozen and fill your pot a little bit more, or 18, it does not matter the number of eggs. The cooking time and the natural release, or however you end up liking your boiled eggs, is going to be the same. So I've got my eggs in there, my liquid, I've got my little steamer basket to keep the eggs off the bottom. Now I am ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my lid. Make sure it's locked all the way. Always make sure your knob is pressed to sealing or sealed, not venting. If it is on venting, your pot is not going to come to pressure and your food is not going to cook correctly. So make sure it is always sealed before you do anything else. Okay, I've got my Instant Pot plugged in, and now, since again, I do have the manual button on here, I'm gonna press that, which is gonna put it on high pressure, but whatever button you need to get your pot to high pressure and not low pressure for these boiled eggs. So I'm gonna press the manual, again, high pressure. However, I do not want to cook them for 25 minutes. That was the last time I used the Instant Pot. I like the 4-4-4 method. So that means I'm going to cook them for 4 minutes. Here in just a second, it's gonna go to on, which means the pressure cooker, your Instant Pot, is, you know, coming to pressure. Now, speaking of coming to pressure, it could take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to come to pressure. So it's not just the 4 minutes. You have to add on the amount of time that it takes to come to pressure, which is different. It depends on how much you have in your pot. Obviously, the more you have in there, the longer it's going to take to come to pressure. So the fastest amount of time that I've seen on my Instant Pot is about 5 minutes. So it's gonna take 5 minutes. Then it's gonna do that 4-minute countdown that I set it on. Once that 4 minutes is up, I am then not going to release the pressure just yet. I'm gonna set my own timer for another 4 minutes, and then we're gonna come back after that, you know, pressure time, the 4 minutes, then the other 4 minutes, so 8 minutes on top of the time that it takes to come to pressure. We're gonna come back and then we're going to release the rest of the pressure by moving our knob from sealing to venting. Now, since I am opting to meal prep all in one day instead of just doing these throughout the week, you guys let me know. I am going to show you exactly how I am working, but if you would prefer to see one recipe all together instead of broken apart as an actual meal prep, let me know in the comments. And the next time I share a Instant Pot video, I will make sure to keep the recipes together. Does that make sense? Like, since I just started the eggs, I would completely finish the eggs in the video and then move on to the next recipe. recipe. However, today, since I'm doing it all in one, I have my eggs started, but I am gonna go ahead and start on the next recipe or item that I am prepping as well, so I can just keep it moving along, and that definitely saves you a lot of time in the kitchen. So let me know which way you prefer to see it in video form, and that's the way that I will share with you guys the next time I use my Instant Pot to meal prep, or share, you know, several recipes in one video if I'm cooking them all in one day. I hope that made sense. But like I mentioned, I am going to go ahead and move along. So my Instant Pot is coming to pressure for my eggs, but I am going to use my other one to start on some frozen chicken. Now, I am meal prepping frozen chicken for my dogs. I do have 2 labs, and I make their dog food several times a month or about once a month. It just depends on how much I'm making at once. I do have a separate video on this. I will link it up in the iCards and in the description box. Now, every time I make their dog food, it is a little different, but the main component is always chicken. They love chicken. So I have a big old bag of frozen chicken breasts. I do not have to worry about thawing it or anything because my Instant Pot is fantastic at cooking frozen chicken. So I'm gonna go ahead and open my lid. Now with the chicken, oh, and if you guys didn't know this little hack, these types of Instant Pots, I know not all of them have it, but these actually hold your lids. So you don't have to worry about setting them down anywhere else. It's definitely a space saver, and I love it. So figured I would point that out. So with frozen chicken, you do not need to put anything in the bottom. Your chicken can touch the bottom of the pot. That is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my chicken out and see how many of these frozen chicken breasts I can fit in here. Okay, I was able to fit 4, and you can see how big they are. Fairly large boneless, skinless chicken breasts in my Instant Pot. Now, since I am making this for dog food, I am not adding any seasonings. It's just not really good for them, the salt or anything else. So I am using them plain Jane. However, if you were going to have like chicken quesadillas, or you later on in the week we're gonna make some kind of cheesy chicken casserole, you could easily, like I'm going to do, go ahead and cook your chicken at the beginning of the week. Just keep it in the fridge, and that way that is one step that is already done for you when you are ready to make that casserole or quesadilla or whatever chicken dish that you wanted. So depending on what kind of dish you are going to use this for, you could put in your seasonings right now with your chicken, as well as for your liquid, use a chicken broth or some kind of stock. Whereas I am, again, just like with the eggs, just using water because I need this to be plain for my doggies. So I am putting about 1 cup of water in my pot. Now, since these are frozen, once they start cooking, they are going to give off a lot of liquid, but I have thankfully never gotten a burn message on my Instant Pot. And that is because I make sure to use plenty of liquid for the Instant Pot or pressure cooker to use to where nothing ever sticks on the bottom. So if you ever get that burn message, just know that typically means that 1, your food is too close to the bottom, whereas it shouldn't be, or you do not have enough liquid to create that nice little layer between your food and the pot, and your pot is burning. Your food is burning on the bottom of your pot. So those are 2 main reasons why you would get the burn message. So I always make sure I have plenty of liquid, whether I am using frozen or fresh thawed chicken. I always add 1 cup of extra liquid. So again, just to share, I am cooking my chicken plain Jane. Now you could do plain Jane too and reheat your chicken later on the skillet and add your seasonings then with a little bit of chicken broth, whatever you want to do. But you could go ahead and add all your seasonings and a better liquid with a little bit more flavor right now to help out later on in the week, whereas I'm just doing mine plain Jane. But I still wanted to share how easy it is to pull out that frozen meat and go ahead and let your Instant Pot do the hard work for you. So now that I've got my meat and my liquid in there, I'm going to close my lid. Again, make sure my pot is on sealing, not venting. Otherwise it will not come to pressure and it will not cook correctly. So with this pot, I do need to pressure cook first. It's already on high pressure. I do not need my chicken to cook for 35 minutes. So I am actually gonna go down to 8 minutes just because my chicken breasts are fairly large. I want to make sure they're cooked thoroughly, But most of the time, 6 minutes is a good time for chicken, but just because these are bigger, I just wanna make sure they're cooked thoroughly. So again, my pot is on. Now it's coming to pressure, so it's gonna take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Then it's gonna pop up with that 8-minute cook time. Speaking of coming to pressure, my eggs are still not to pressure, so the amount of time that it took me to get all that done, this is still working on coming to pressure. But once this is done, I am gonna go ahead and do a quick release. So once that 8-minute time beeps, I'm gonna come over here and move my knob from sealing to venting and let all the pressure come out. And that way I can get moving on, and I'll show you how easy it is to shred chicken. My 4 minutes is up. So now this is gonna start counting up to show how long it has been on a natural release, which just means you're letting the pressure release naturally and you're not turning the knob. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 4 minutes, and then we will release the rest of the pressure and get these eggs in an ice bath. This one is still coming to pressure. Okay, it has been 4 minutes. We are going to release the rest of the pressure. Do not put your hand over this area at all, because when you release the pressure comes out right here. And I mean, a little bit escapes right here as well. So I just keep my finger off to the side. I don't use a towel or anything like that, and I am just fine. All right, so the pressure has been released. My eggs are done. So now we are going to get them in an ice bath, which is just a bowl with ice. I'm gonna set these in here and set another timer for 4 minutes. Okay, my 4-minute timer is up, and my chicken actually only has 5 minutes left. So I should be able to finish up with the eggs, and then the chicken will be done. I haven't started anything else in the Instant Pot just yet. So I am gonna go ahead and crack all my eggs. I just kind of pound them and roll them, and then your shell should come off super easy. Sometimes it takes a little bit more to get them off, but that is it. And then I just go ahead and use the same water, rinse it off. I'll dry it off a little bit and then put it in your container of choice. I will go ahead and cut one in half in just a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish peeling the rest of these eggs. See, this one didn't crack as easily. So sometimes you get lucky and it comes right off, and other times you do have to peel it a little bit, but this is definitely the easiest way that I have found to hard boil your eggs. So again, I'm going to rinse that off a little bit, just dry off the excess water and get it in my container. Time is up. You can see here that knob is still up, whereas on the eggs, there was no pressure left, not a whole lot of pressure when you're just cooking eggs, but I've got plenty in there for the chicken. So no natural release. I just want to go ahead and get this chicken prepped. So I'm gonna do a quick release. You can see and hear all the steam coming out. That's why you do not want your hand over that. Okay, my eggs are looking a little dark today, so I'm sure that there is a gray lining around them. Oh, there's not. Surprise, surprise. They looked a little dark to me, but there we go. So the 4-4-4 method works most of the time. I do sometimes, like I said, do get that gray ring. Maybe it depends on the age of the eggs as well, but these ones definitely turned out really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and have myself a little snack. So I'm adding a little bit of salt and pepper. If you are curious, these salt and pepper little jars are from the Magnolia, the Hearth and Hand, actually not Magnolia, the Hearth and Hand from Target. So I always get questions about this as well whenever I share them in videos, but yep, that's just where I keep my salt and pepper. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and have myself a snack. I got the rest ready. I'm gonna get my lid on and just keep these in the fridge. And that way we've got eggs to snack on for the next several days. All right, all the pressure is out. Now you can open your pot. See, definitely plenty of liquid. So I am actually gonna go ahead and drain this liquid because I'm going to shred my chicken in here. And the way that I'm going to shred it, if I keep all this extra liquid in here, it will make a huge mess. I've got all the extra liquid drained. And if you have not seen this hack, you guys are definitely missing out because I have been using it for years and it is such a time saver. It works fantastic. And that is using a hand mixer, or if you have a KitchenAid, you could throw this in your KitchenAid. These are just easier to clean in my opinion. So depending on what you're making, but I've got my hand mixer and I'm going to use this to shred my chicken. It is only gonna take I was gonna say a matter of seconds, but maybe a few seconds more, definitely under a minute. And boom, shredded chicken. Now, I do want to say that I actually should have cooked this a little bit longer. I did have that inkling that 8 minutes wasn't going to be enough just because of the size of those chicken breasts. And there was one piece of chicken that it was not completely done. But since this is for my dogs, that is completely safe for them to consume. But if I was feeding this to my family, I probably would have restarted the pot just to finish cooking those, or take them off and finish them out in the skillet. So I just wanted to say, if you have huge chicken breasts and they are frozen, maybe try the 10 to 12 minute mark. But typically, if it's fresh chicken, you only need 6 to 8 minutes and it'll be fine. But since this was frozen and they were fairly large chicken breasts, I think the 10 to 12 minutes probably would have done better if, again, you were using this for your family. But since I am using this for my dogs, the fact that it is not completely done is okay for them. It's safe for them to consume raw meat. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this pot out. And this is another reason why I just love to have more than one insert. So if you only have one Instant Pot, I would definitely recommend, as soon as you can, putting it into your budget to get a second pot, just to help. If you are using it for more than one meal, or multiple times a day, it does help not have to do as much cleanup in between each item that you're cooking. So I'm gonna get my second pot in here, and now we're gonna go ahead and set up the next two things that I want to meal prep for today. And I'm just gonna set this chicken off to the side. Okay, I've got you on a close-up of the pot. So next up, I am continuing with the dog food, but this is something super easy to meal prep, or just to use your Instant Pot for at dinner time, is cooking rice. So I'm gonna add 2 cups of white rice, and actually this is basmati rice. It's just what we prefer, but any type of white rice will be fine. And then as far as measurements of water, I see a lot of sites and people recommend 1 to 1. I'm not a fan of that. I do, if it's 2 cups of rice, I add 1 extra cup of water. Sometimes I double it if I want more of a sticky rice, but the majority of the time, since I added 2 cups of rice, I'm adding 3 cups of water. So I've got my 3 cups of water, 2 cups of rice. Sometimes I use my finger. Actually, most of the time I use my finger, but I'm gonna be using this fork to fluff it when it's done. So I'm just using my fork, trying not to scrape the bottom, and I'm just mixing it up a little bit. And for this specific rice, I did choose not to rinse it. So if you want to rinse your rice, that takes, a lot of the extra starch out, and that helps it be more of a fluffy rice. If you are, depending on what recipe you are using your rice for, or if you just prefer a sticky rice, don't rinse the rice and it'll be extra sticky. So since this is for the dog food, I'm gonna be mixing it in with the chicken. I'm not rinsing it, nothing extra special. It's just to help. My dogs are older, they're 11, 12, so it really helps their tummies with, that extra bit of starch. And I don't rinse it or anything like that, mix it in with the chicken. I'll show you guys everything that I do with the dog food in a little bit, but right now we're focusing on the Instant Pot. So I've got my lid on, I'm gonna plug it in, and then I'll show you how easy it is to cook it. All right, so with this model, you do have to pressure cook first. With this model, I don't really have to press anything other than like manual and then the button. So this one, instead of that manual button, I am pushing pressure cook, but I'm gonna use the rice button. So if yours does not have a rice button, whether it's an Instant Pot brand or another brand of a pressure cooker, you can see here, all the rice button did was put it on low pressure. I'll let it stop, there we go. It puts it on low pressure for, if you saw there, the 12 minutes. So the auto just means it is coming to pressure. I did make sure that my knob, again, is sealing, not venting, so the pot comes to pressure, and that's it. We're gonna do a quick release once that 12-minute countdown is up, and then our rice will be ready to go. Okay, I have everything ready for the next recipe or thing that I'm going to be meal prepping in the Instant Pot, and this is oatmeal. Like I mentioned, I am pretty much the only one in the house who likes oatmeal. Now, my oldest daughter eats it sometimes, but not all the time. So I do have 4 jars that I'm gonna be using in my Instant Pot. I'll show you guys when we're getting everything, you know, put in there. But as far as ingredients, this is what I'm using. You could totally change this up to your likes. I mean, you could add a different fruit, blueberries. You could add strawberries, coconut, so many different options. Use your seasoning of choice. This is just what I kind of pulled together from what I have. So I had a huge apple and I went ahead and cut it in half. And then I only diced up half of it. I think this will be enough. If not, I have the other half that I can add in here. Otherwise, I'll just have that other half as a like mid-morning snack. Then I'm gonna be using almond milk just in case my oldest daughter does want to eat this. She doesn't like regular milk, so I'm gonna use her almond milk. And then I've got my oatmeal here. And then I have this cinnamon toast crunch seasoning, so I figured I would go ahead and use this. You could use plain old cinnamon. You could use any kind of sugar substitute. If you do not like, you know, regular sugar, you could also use maple syrup or honey, but I like to add my maple syrup afterwards. After it's done cooking, when I'm about to eat it, I will reheat these up, or I like cold oatmeal as well. I know that's not, you know, a lot of people's favorites, but I enjoy cold oatmeal as well. So adding a little maple syrup after the fact is super yummy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these ready. So I'm gonna use, I have these kind of in order here. I'm gonna use half a cup of oatmeal in each jar. Then I'm going to use a third cup of the almond milk and a 1/4 cup of apples. And I have 4 jars here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these all mixed up, and then I'm just gonna sprinkle. I'm not gonna measure this, I'm just gonna sprinkle it, mix them together, and then I will share with you guys when we are putting them into the Instant Pot. Okay, just wanted to share that I did make a mess trying to measure it out the way that I did. Normally, I don't measure, I just kind of put in here. I like made up measurements to what I thought was gonna work so you guys could recreate this. But I make oatmeal quite often, so I just kind of wing it. But I did end up doubling the almond milk. That 1/3 was definitely not enough, and I like mine a little bit more runny, so I think I ended up maybe doubling it. I kind of just poured it in here, and this is the consistency that I like right before I am cooking my oatmeal, because I like mine, did I say runny? I don't like mine runny. I like mine a little bit more on the thick side. So I just mix it in until there's a little bit of liquid, enough to kind of soak up into the oatmeal and cook it. But there we go. Now my oatmeal jars are ready. I have a little bit of a mess to clean up. I am not going to, I do want to mention this, do not put the lids on. You're gonna cook these in your Instant Pot without the lids. The lids are just to help, you know, afterwards put them on and keep them in the fridge. So let's go ahead and move over to my other counter and get these in the Instant Pot. Okay, we are at my other Instant Pot now, and I'm using the same. I just dumped the water out and used a hand towel and dried it out a little bit. I'm using the same pot I used for the eggs because I didn't, you know, dirty this up or anything like that. So I'm actually gonna add 2 cups of water. You are gonna want a trivet. You could probably get away with 1 cup. I just wasn't paying attention and I had 2 cups in here. So I have my liquid in here. I have my trivet because I do not want the glass jars sitting on the bottom. My rice is almost done. That's how long it took me to get everything ready for this recipe. So now we're just gonna put our jars in the Instant Pot, and this size fit perfectly. Again, I'm not putting a lid on top of them. I'm gonna close my Instant Pot, make sure it is sealing, not venting. Otherwise, again, your pot is not going to come to pressure and your food is not gonna cook properly. And then again, with this pot, the IP Duo manual automatically puts it on high pressure. The rice is done, and I'm gonna cook the oatmeal for 10 minutes. It's gonna come to pressure, and when that is done, I'm gonna let it release naturally. So I'm not gonna press this knob at all. I'm gonna let it sit here until all the pressure is out on its own. So now that my oatmeal is going, my rice is done. I'm going to do a quick release. You can see the little button popped up, so that means that my my Instant Pot did come to pressure. So let's release that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this pot off because I am done with it. Open my lid, and we've got our rice. So I'm just gonna fluff it with the fork a little bit Now this you could easily use with that shredded chicken and prep a few lunches for yourself if you wanted to. Pick a veggie to add or make it like a chicken stir fry. That is a super easy way to meal prep lunches, so you're set. One less thing you have to worry about in the morning before you head off to work, or later at night when you forget to get your lunch together. Just saves a little bit of time. So I've got my rice done. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the dog food while the oatmeal is cooking. Okay, so to save on bowls, I just left, or dishes, I just left the chicken in the Instant Pot bowl. I do have the other Instant Pot bowl, so I'm gonna add my rice to my chicken. And then I love adding pumpkin to the food when I'm making it for the dogs, because it definitely helps out with their skin and their coat and all of that. Sometimes I do add a vegetable as well. Actually, most of the time I do, but I opted not to this week just because I knew I was gonna be making this video. So I was just, solely using the Instant Pot. So again, just to save on dishes, I'm gonna use the same fork, but I am gonna go ahead and get this entire can of pumpkin in here as well, and then mix it all up, and my dogs have food for the next week and a half. It really just depends on the size of your dog, how much you feed them, and of course how many dogs you have. I have 2 fairly large dogs, so this definitely does not last as long as if you only had 1 dog. All right, and then all I do is keep this in the fridge. Once I get it all mixed up, cover it, keep it in the fridge, and I give, like I said, I've already made a video on this, but my dogs get a cup or like a big scoop of this mixed with their dry food every single night for dinner, and it lasts anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. It just depends on how much I am making and how, what I'm using to bulk it up and all of that. But if you do not make fresh food for your dogs and you want to cook the chicken and rice for yourself, I actually shared video with 2 different pots that actually make it easier to prep lunches for yourself, cooking rice and chicken at the same time using the PIP, pot in pot method. So I will go ahead and link that video just so you guys can see how easy, truly easy it is to use the Instant Pot to meal prep for yourself. Okay, time is up, but like I mentioned, we are going to do a natural release. So you can see the pot has come to pressure. So I'm just gonna wait for that little pin to drop down on its own. Okay, pressure has released, so I will go ahead and just do that just to make sure. But that did take a little longer than I thought. 16 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the lid. Oh, my oatmeal looks so good. So let me go ahead and get my jars out of here, and that way you guys can get a little better look at them. Okay, the jars are still a little hot, but this is definitely how I like my oatmeal. So I'm not gonna stir all of them. I just wanted to show one of them. But now, if you make this in the morning, you could go ahead and eat one. Add, like I mentioned, maple syrup, whatever, topping you want, some honey. But I am meal prepping these for the rest of the week. So I am gonna go ahead and get the lids on and then get these in my fridge. And now I have a few breakfast for me for this week. Or, if my oldest daughter wants to eat one, she can. But I am the oatmeal lover. That one does not want to go on. I am the oatmeal lover in this house. Last but certainly not least, this is a great hack if you are making potato salad or egg salad. If you need hard-boiled eggs that you're just going to cut up, this saves the step of peeling them and all of that. So I've shared this before, but it was within a different meal prep, and I figured I would put all Instant Pot related items together in one video. So this is all I need, and I am making an egg loaf. So I am basically making hard-boiled eggs in this pan because I am going to be chopping them all up. I'm personally making egg salad, but you could use this for anything else as well. If you just want a whole bunch of eggs chopped up to add as a topping to anything, if you wanna mix it into potato salad, if you have potato salad on your meal plan for later on in the week, or whether it's, a lunch or dinner, or if you wanna go ahead and prep some egg salad for yourself for the week. This is definitely a quick and easy way, and like I said, to take out the step of having to peel your hard-boiled eggs later on. So I showed you guys how to make hard-boiled eggs, really simple, but I made them that way because my kids like to snack on them. This is the way that I prefer to do it if I'm actually going to be, like I mentioned, cutting them up. So I have this little pan. This is actually from a set, the same set that I use when I'm making rice and chicken at the same time. I already mentioned that video, so you can check that out down below, but I will have this linked as well if you guys want to get, you know, a 2-pack or just any kind of pan that is going to fit in your Instant Pot. Make sure it's gonna fit in there with no problem at all. So I'm gonna spray my pan. I'm going to add my this is probably a little over 1 cup of water. Again, I just filled it up. It really doesn't matter as long as it's at least 1 cup of water so your pot can come to pressure. So I've got my water in there. I'm gonna spray my pan, and all I'm gonna do is crack the eggs in here. I'm not gonna mix them or anything. I'm just gonna crack them in here. Like I said, all I did was crack the eggs in here. I'm not trying to make scrambled eggs. I want them to be hard-boiled eggs, so I did not mix them up at all. I just cracked them right in here. I have 8 in there. I feel like that, you know, is a good number. If you're gonna do more than 10, I would add on a little bit of time, but I've got 8. I'm going to close my lid. I'm using the same exact insert that I did just because it helps with the cleanup. Make sure your pot is sealing, not venting. And then I'm using my manual, but whatever button to get it to high pressure. I do not need 10 minutes though. I'm gonna cook it for 6 minutes, and then I am gonna do a natural release for about 5 minutes. Okay, time is up, and then I did a 5-minute natural release. I can see that there's still pressure, so I need to be careful when I'm turning the knob. I can open my lid, and there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and get that out and show you guys how easy it is to cut it up and turn it into egg salad. Okay, so I brought the pan over here. I am using oven mitts because it is still fairly warm. I'm gonna use a butter knife. Even though I sprayed it, it still does stick a little bit. So I'm gonna use a butter knife, and actually, let me see if I can. And then I'm gonna make just random cuts. I kind of go in a line, and that way I'm not dirtying another dish. I do have a plate here just in case, but oh yeah, because sometimes it just pulls apart and I have to put it on a plate to finish cutting it, but I think this is gonna work. So I basically just chop it, roughly chop it with my butter knife in here. So I am actually not going to need this plate at all, and that saved me a dish. So again, I'm just going to use my butter knife and roughly chop it in here, and look at how much time that saved me by not having to peel the eggs and then, you know, put them on a plate or cutting board, whatever, and then chop them. I'm doing it all in here, and because my Instant Pot only had water in it, it's not dirty either. I could give it just like a quick clean dry out, and it is good to go. So, all right, I think that is good. I definitely like mine more on the chunky side, so I don't cut them up too small. Now I am gonna need a bowl though. I guess I probably could use this for the rest of the ingredients, but I think it will be easier to use a bowl. So let me get the eggs in here, and maybe use my knife. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. Not too bad, didn't stick too bad. So here's a closer look of the egg, how it all cooked. You can tell there that there's no gray spots at all. It actually looks a little bit darker on my camera than in real life. It's definitely a nice, vibrant yellow. And then I'm just gonna take it easy. Sometimes I do add a crunch, but I'm just gonna use these ingredients today. I kind of switch it up every now and then. So I've got some mayo, mustard, paprika, and then salt and pepper, and that's all I'm gonna add to my egg salad. And this will be a quick and easy lunch for the next couple days for my husband and I. Okay guys, I am done. So here is everything that I've got. I've got our hard-boiled eggs for snacking. I've got this, again, this could be a lunch or dinner option for you guys to meal prep the rice and the chicken, but this is dog food. I've got the egg salad prepped for a couple lunches, and then the oatmeal for breakfast. So that is everything that I was able to meal prep that I wanted to share with you guys. Again, just some super easy options. If you got an Instant Pot for Christmas, or you've had it for a while and you haven't taken it out yet, I wanted to give you guys some easy options first, but I do have a lot more that I would love to share with you guys. So if you love the Instant Pot and are looking for more recipes and ideas, give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. One thing is, when I am meal prepping, I like to clean up as I go. If I have 2 things cooking, I go ahead and clean up. So my dishes are already running in the dishwasher. I have an empty sink and my counters are wiped down. So awesome. I love being proactive and doing that versus waiting until the very end. I like to clean up as I go. So all I have to do now is get all of these items in my fridge and I am prepped for the next several days. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you are a beginner with the Instant Pot, I hope this helped you out a lot. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.